First class censorship. Hi and welcome to Ryvis Rambles, where I talk about whatever the f*** I want. And today, I want to talk about MASHLE. MASHLE is a Japanese anime series based on the manga by Kurumata Hajime, with currently 1 season and 12 episodes, even though there's a 2nd season running while filming this, which will also have 12 episodes. It's a classical shounen anime set in a magical world with lots of action and tropey characters, but doesn't take itself too seriously. The comedy is on point, in my opinion. At least it made me laugh quite a lot. MASH is about a guy, Mash, who lives in a magic world but isn't able to use magic, which makes him out of the ordinary. To protect him, his father lives in hiding with him and submits him to a strict sports regimen for self-defense. However, they're found out, and to return to his peaceful life with his father, Mash has to become a so-called divine visionary in the magic realm. For that, he needs to attend a magic school without being found out by the teachers and his fellow students. And you know what? For this anime, the weights I'm hiding are way more appropriate as a backdrop, so let me quickly fix that. And as always, I will be talking about spoilers, so if you're only interested in my opinion, you can jump to this part. As mentioned before, the story takes place in a world where magic is the norm / the ordinary. Our main protagonist, Mash Burnett, however, is out of the ordinary. I'm going to do a magic trick now, so... He can't use magic and compensates for his lack of magic with pure physical strength. Okay. Hence the anime's name, MASHLE. It's a combination of magic, muscle, and mash. But it appears that Mash isn't aware of the fact that he can't use magic, wondering why his training is strictly physical instead of magical. Correct me if I'm wrong, but to me it sounds here like he doesn't know. It seems that his dad, Ryvis Burnett, never told him that he lacks magic. Ryvis found Mash as a baby, abandoned by his parents because he is unmarked. Magicians have a mark on their face, a line which Mash is missing. Because Ryvis himself felt unwanted, he could relate to the baby and adopted him. The motivation is so simple, and yet it works. Mash and his dad live in a forest far away from the city because they need to hide, and Mash isn't allowed to go into the city ever. But we wouldn't have a plot if Mash was obedient, which he is most of the time, to be fair. So he goes into the city without telling his dad because he wants some special cream puffs. Due to his missing mark, Mash is quickly exposed and gets into a fight with a drunken policeman. This fight is broken off by Brad Coleman, a high-ranking police officer, I suppose, who happens upon them and recognizes Mash as an unmarked. However, before he can do anything, Mash's dad snatches Mash and sprints away. Brad sends a bird after them and finds them anyway. People without magic are seen as inferior beings and have no right or privilege to live, so they're to be eradicated without exception. This is where I think Mash learns that he can't do magic. But as I said before, I'm not sure. Ryvis wants Mash to run for his life, but there's no way that Mash can just leave his beloved dad behind. He easily defeats Brad, showing that all the training paid off, even though it was just meant as self-defense, and initiates the fight with a very cool line. He slaps the magic away just like that. He makes an utter fool out of Brad. He then picks up his dad's wand to throw it like a baseball, wounding Brad as a warning. Defeated, Brad is willing to let Mash and his dad slide, but under one condition. He has to enroll to Eastern Magic Academy, a prestigious magic school in the magic realm, and become a divine visionary. They're seen as God's chosen one, which means if Mash becomes a divine visionary, God has accepted him and so will society. In return, Brad wants the fame and fortune that comes with the title. If he refuses, Mash and his dad will forever be on the run, so Mash agrees. He really just wants to live in peace with his family. Now, how does Mash become a divine visionary? As a student of Eastern Magic Academy, he has to collect the most golden coins. There isn't a specific number, it just has to be more than anyone else. Which brings us to fake Hogwarts. Only people with superior magical powers are able to pass the entrance exam of the school. Were it he'll fail, Regular and Brett follow Mash into a school in a very bad disguise. And to make sure Mash won't stand out, they drew a fake line in the form of a lightning bolt on Mash's face. However, he still stands out because all he cares about is his workout and cream puffs. While magic is required to pass the tests, Mash manages to finish them all with sheer muscle and willpower. In the Labyrinth trial, Mash meets Lemon, who's rather weak and can't finish the maze on her own. She asks him to work together because it's more efficient, even though she turns out to be quite the opposite and betrays him in the end. He leaves her, but when she's in a pickle, he can't help but save her anyway, because that's just the kind of guy he is. Turns out she got in his way on purpose because the exam supervisor, Claude Lucci, wanted to flunk him. Not only because Mash doesn't seem to take the exam seriously, but also because he hurt his pride. After Lemon spilled the truth, Claude challenges Mash, but Mash just breaks Claude's wand to put a stop to him. Before things get any more out of hand, Dumbledore, Headmaster Wahlberg appears and takes charge of the examination for the final interviews. The final test is more powerful and cruel than anything else Mash has encountered so far, but he still manages to pass with a mix of physical strength, sheer willpower, and a tad of self-sacrifice, because he'd rather get hurt himself than allow others to be harmed. Wahlberg is impressed by his resolve and frankness and accepts Mash as a student. However, the teachers are less than impressed because he sucks so hard at magic and solves all issues with brute force. But the way he simulates flight is next level. Similar to Harry Potter houses, students in Eastern Magic Academy are sorted into dorms right after entering school. There are 3 dorms in total: Lang, Adler, and Orca. Mash is sorted into the Adler dorm. However, they're not sorted by a head, but a unicorn skeleton, which is so much more metal. The coins Mash needs to become a divine visionary can be earned in different schoolwork and activities. There are different kinds of coins: bronze, silver, and gold, and it depends on the completed task which and how many coins a student receives. But it's also important to have good grades, else you'll get expelled. Basically, high marks and as many coins as possible are needed to become a divine visionary. Mash is a bit worried about his grades, but he's about to be expelled for another reason. Mash shares a room with Finn Ames, who'd rather not be involved with Mash. This changes when he's bullied by Lloyd Cavil. But come on, even the scene is the same as in Harry Potter. And he's the son of a high-ranking member of the Bureau of Magic, so you really can't blame me for mixing him up with Draco Malfoy. Mash actually gets bullied by Lloyd as well, but as mentioned before, he doesn't mind when he's the one affected. But when he sees someone weaker getting bullied, he can't just stand by and watch, so he beats up Lloyd in order to avenge Finn. He beats the living shit out of Lloyd and buries the vice principal who was kissing up Lloyd's ass alive. However, thanks to Mash's attitude of constantly helping out the weak, Headmaster Wahlberg is willing to overlook Mash's deeds. After beating up Lloyd and the vice principal, Mash is rather infamous among the other students. Due to his spirit, Tom Knowles recruits him to a sport called Duelo, which basically is just Quidditch. The game Mash is supposed to attend is held on the very next day. Tom gets fouled by a member of the opposing team, and Mash once again steps up for his friends and wins the game for his team. Thanks to his innate urge to help others, Mash is now surrounded by people who consider him their friend. Just as Mash tries to get out of the situation, a bit overwhelmed by the ruckus, Lance Crown, a guy with 2 lines, appears and kidnaps his friends. Having 2 lines is a big deal because the more lines a magician has, the more powerful they are. Lance's goal is to entice Mash to a match for silver coins, with each of them betting 1 silver coin. We learn that Lance is threatening Mash because his sister is slowly losing her magic. And as we know, people without magic are frowned upon in this world. So Lance wants to become a divine visionary to save her from the Bureau of Magic. But Mash can save his friends no problem. And we incidentally learn that Lance is a good guy. The bottle he threatened to drop was a fake, while he kept the real bottle in his robes. After losing the match, Lance gives Mash his silver coin as promised and becomes part of the friend group. During one of their classes, a new character is introduced, Dot, Barrett. He only cares about girls and hates handsome guys because they mean competition. Their assignment is to collect forehead gems of scorpion-like beasts to earn coins. Mash ends up running into Barrett in the forest where they have a fight against a Lang student, Silver, who's after Mash's coins. Barrett takes Silver on to protect a girl, but Mash deals the final blow after they take the humiliation too far. Even though I'm not 100% sure if he does it for Barrett or because he lost one of his cream puffs as a casualty. Another casualty is one of the scorpions with a star gem that earns Mash another 2 coins, winning him his first gold coin. Lance explains that Silver belongs to the Lang's elite, who call themselves Magia Lupus, who collect coins to artificially produce the next divine visionary. Despite Lance's warning to steer clear of the Lang dorm, Mash gets lost in school and ends up in the Lang dorm. Destroying a door, as always, he basically runs into trouble because of course the leader of Magia Lupus, Abel Walker, is after his golden coin. We already knew that more lines mean more power, and Abel has 3. Since Mash isn't willing to hand the coin over, Abel tries to take it by force. However, Mash manages to free himself from Abel's magic and rescue Silver while he's at it to bring him to the nurse's office because he accidentally stepped on him. Lemon tells the boys that Lang currently has the most coins, which means they're on the best track to produce the next divine visionary. Since they follow a questionable ideology, Mash and his friends resolve to stop them. Magia Lupus, of course, didn't give up on Mash's golden coin yet either, and keep on attacking him and keep on losing. Anyways, shortly after Lemon gets kidnapped and the boys rush to her rescue. On the way to rescue her, they have to fight against the other members of Magia Lupus. What follows are some interesting and action-packed fights, because this time they're not all defeated by Mash, and even Mash has a bit of trouble with his own opponent. Lance fights against Worth, Mash fights against Abyss, and Dot and Finn fight against Love and Milo. But Finn doesn't really help and Milo leaves them to Love. After Love is defeated, Milo returns, and Finn's brother saves their asses because Dot is spent and Finn is a deadweight. Rain already is a divine visionary and is currently at school because Headmaster Walbrock said that Innocent Zero, who probably is going to be the end boss, has sent some lackeys to the school. And indeed, after defeating Abel, they're visited by members of Innocent Zero. Abel was working for them, and since he failed, Cell War wants or has to kill him because he's no longer useful to them. However, Abyss Razor protects Abel, and since Mash has changed his mind about them, he fights against Cell. By doing so, he accidentally reveals that he's not a magician. But since his friends don't want anything to happen to him, they'll of course keep his secret safe. However, other students overhear his secret as well, and the season ends with the open question: what will Mash do? This anime was so much better than expected. Going into this, I thought it was going to be an homage to the gym bros out there, but it's not at all. It's one of the funniest shit I've seen in a good while, and the fact that the show is so self-aware makes it even better, which already becomes obvious in the very first sentence.
ここは魔法界。魔法がある世界なので魔法界と呼ばれている。
And here are some more examples.
当たり前のことをさも真理っぽく無駄に貯めて言いやがる。
泳げない的なこと言ってませんでした。仕事いいの？仕事より出番だ。出番大事ね。わーいわーい。いつまでやる気だ。いつまでやるの？
なんでしなめてるんですか？
What I also love about this anime is that it's basically Hogwarts ordered on Wish. We have fake Dumbledore, fake Draco, fake McGonagall, fake Lupin, fake Hogwarts, dorms instead of houses, a sorting unicorn skeleton, Harry's lightning bolt scar as a line on Marsh's face, and so much more. And yet, it's so much better than its inspiration. It's kind of funny how a whole franchise turned into He Who Shall Not Be Named. While its main genre or focus is comedy, the fights can take on a serious note, and we even have some tragic backstories peppered in that aren't ridiculed. I usually need a favorite character in a show to keep on watching it. I need someone I can relate to, or at least someone to root for. And while I do like the characters in MASHLE, it was hard for me to pick a favorite. In the end, it turned out to be Mash himself. Okay, where do I start? Call me weird, but Mash is a stone-faced bitch and I really like that. But just because you can't see the emotions on his face doesn't mean they don't exist. Especially when Mash has to keep up the facade of being a magician, he fails because he got a really bad poker face. He's incredibly polite and formal, but he can also be brutally honest, never mincing his words.
あと喋りかけてるそれ人形ですけど。
ご指摘ありがとう。
申し訳ない。
許さぬ。それはちょっと困るんで、やっぱあなたとは仲良くできなさそう。自分のことを深い人間だと思ってそうですね。帰ってくれるなら帰ってくれるでありがたいな。
Since he can't use magic, he relies on his muscle power, and his main motivators are cream puffs and family, in that order.
ちょっと待って。シュークリームが。いや、だからシュークリー。
He loves cream puffs above everything else. So much so that literally everything he cooks ends up as cream puffs.
魔法以外は任せてよ。これをこうして、次にこうするとこうなる。
なんでシュークリームになってんの？
I think the moment he became my favorite was when he was shown in Cream Puff Heaven. This is where I fell in love with this anime. Don't get me wrong, I already liked it before, but this was the moment where I thought to myself, hell yeah, I gotta make a video about this. Mash is a very righteous character, and I could relate to his ideals. He wants to protect the weak, but makes sure to treat everyone equally.
僕は男女平等に扱うから。
However, since he's so strong, he can't open a door for shit.
なんでドア壊して入ってきてんだマッシュ。
本当、部屋のものが壊れるから外でやってくれない？
矛盾も矛盾。
There's one moment where it looks like he had a character development, but it was just a fluke.
毎回ドアを壊して入る必要はあるのかい？
ノックしようとしたらこんなんなっちゃいました。
His strength combined with his expressionless face gave me Mob and Saitama vibes. Like he's a mix of the two characters. Another character I really liked was Abyss Razor, but I can't really tell you why, to be honest. In the end, it was probably his tragic backstory that did it for me. They always get me. Since he's considered an abomination due to his eye, I was wondering why he's trying to hide his identity with a mask instead of an eye patch, but it all became clear when we saw his flashback with Abel.
アビス・レイザー。今から僕がその目に意味を持たせると言ってるんだ。
I guess Abel also belongs to my favorites. At first I liked his character design because it contains so much purple. I love his hair. But him preserving his mom as a doll gave me kind of creep vibes. But his mommy issues weren't as deep as I thought, so I'm over it now. Just like Mash, he doesn't show much expression on his face. His motivation was okay-ish justified, but his past wasn't as tragic as the one of Abyss, for example. The last one I liked was Rain Ames. He's super ruthless.
お前みたいなやつには痛みで覚えさせればいい話だ。
And so far still an enigma. We don't know much about him except that he's Finn's older brother, he's a divine visionary, and he appears to like cute things. Or at least rabbits.
好きなんですか？ウサギ。
Lance also had great potential of becoming one of my favorites because he's smart and I like him as a character, personality-wise. However, his syscon completely killed him for me. Like, ew, no thanks. If you don't know what a syscon is, lucky you. Now, the characters I didn't like that much are, funnily enough, all part of the main cast. Of course, there were some side characters I didn't like, for example, Silva and the mean girl, I don't even remember her name, but that was the intention. Rain's brother Finn is super useless in my eyes. At least, so far, I don't see his point except explaining stuff to the viewer every now and then. Other than that, he's mostly crying. Then we have Dob Barrett. As I mentioned before, he only cares about girls and hates handsome guys, and that's just boring and a bit pathetic. There's just one thing I've noticed, and I might be talking out of my ass here, but the stripe on his face resembles the shape of a heartbeat, if I'm not wrong. I guess it also symbolizes that he's a hopeless romantic, so that's a good character design choice in my opinion. And even though he falls in love with every person that has tits on sight, he is still considerate.
何これ
はあ、人の部屋上がる時の手土産だろうが。常識だろ。
And once he's settled, he remains loyal.
だが俺はすごくいいと思う、そういうの。だが俺にはレモンちゃんという未来のフィアンセがいるんで、ごめんなさい、結婚はできないです。
But still falls in love, so... Oh, and apparently he's some kind of demon? And he's pretty strong to be honest, but not my type of likable character. And the last character I don't like is Lemon Irvine. She's a bit boring and just like Finn, quite useless. Her peak was when she betrayed Mash because she was desperate to get into school due to her family's circumstances. But that's it. All she has in mind is marrying Mash, even though he's very clearly not interested, but I'm afraid she'll get him in the end after all. And she often accuses every guy around her to be a perv, when in truth, she is the actual perv. She's even worse than Dot, and that means something. But even here the show stays self-aware. Love says it herself. All the girls are reduced to, do you like me? That's my take on MASHLE. Remember, all of these impressions are based on the first season alone. If the characters develop, my opinions about them might change as well. How about you? Have you already seen it? What are your thoughts on MASHLE? Do you have any favorite characters? Let me know in the comments below. If listening to random people talking about random stuff on the internet appeals to you, leave a like and subscribe. And if you have any topics you'd like to hear me ramble about, leave your suggestions in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching and have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye!
失われた平和を取り戻すために、一筋肉動かしますか。